The All Sooke Days podcast. It's about Sooke businesses, Sooke people, and Sooke history. Brought to you by SookeMortages.ca. With better rates and service, come see why we are Sooke's first choice for mortgages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All Sooke Days podcast. The All Sooke Days podcast is brought to you by SookeMortages.ca. With better rates and services, come see why they're Sooke's first choice for mortgages. Also by Sooke Oceanside Brewery. Come visit their new waterfront tap room and patio for a pint. Pizzability, when only the best will do. And meanwhile in Sooke, Sooke's largest online community. Today with me, I have Peter McKay. How's it going, Pete?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, before we start, I just want to point out these mugs.
Great mugs.
Our friend Koshin Sifu Moonfist sent them in to us. And just want to say thanks, Koshin. These are awesome mugs. They got a nice handle on them and stuff.
Yeah, Sooke celebrity for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a Sooke legend, as it were. So, yeah, Pete, you are the coach of the Sooke Celtics.
Yeah,
right?
so we're a men's soccer team. We play in the Vancouver Island Soccer League, which is all of Vancouver Island and Powell River.
Right.
There's, I think, about 80 teams in the league.
Wow.
So different divisions. We're Division 3, Division 1 being the highest, Division 4 being the lowest. And, yeah, I'm the men's coach. So
That's awesome. Me growing up in Sooke, I've never actually been to a Celtics game, but they are legendary because, as legend has it, every time you guys score, the Sookies will bring out their chainsaws and rev their chainsaws. Does that still happen? Is that still a thing? Or?
Yeah, so it's funny. We became the Sooke Celtic in like the early 2000s, like 2002, I think, 2003, and the team was a Div 4 team, and Dave Scott was the name of the guy who was coaching them, and he's from Scotland, and he's a Celtic fan, and I think that the story is that he said that if you guys want to be Celtic, because Sooke's traditionally blue and white colors, if you guys want to be Celtic, which is green and white hoops, I'm a Celtic fan, and I'll buy you the gear, and everybody was on board, and so that became a thing, and I played for the team when we were Division 1 for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And then that's how all that kind of chainsaw and all that stuff started. And then, I don't know what it is. I guess it's a small town, but we just have a really good fan base. More fans than anybody else in the league by far. I think Powell River gets a pretty good fan base as well, but definitely more than like the Victoria teams.
So were you there for the first time when somebody brought a chainsaw to the game?
Yeah. So that just happened spontaneously, I think. I don't know if it was Alex Patterson or I know he was definitely one that revved it in the past, but if he was the one that started it, but I think it just kind of happened. Somebody just was like, let's make some noise and cheer on the team. So they brought a chainsaw and started revving it. And of course, like everybody's talking about that. And at the time there was a forum on the soccer league's website. So we would go in there and talk about it with other teams and, trash talk and all that stuff. And so it just kind of spread and then it's a thing. And we took the Celtic name back again last year. They were previously the Fredmo Park Rangers, and they had some different names and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we brought back the green and white jerseys, and
nice.
I just kind of all the stuff that worked in the past, I tried to do the same thing, right? So it's kind of like if it worked in the past, it will probably work again. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, the chainsaw's back, and we had a chainsaw sign. Someone cut a sign, a piece of plywood up and spray painted it kind of like a chainsaw. And so we
I think
put
I
that
saw
up.
that.
Yeah, it's in front of the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It looks like kind of hokey, but
it's totally Sooke.
It flows with things.
So I noticed that it was like sort of like a semi-permanent sign. Does that mean you guys have games always at that time, or is it?
No, so we take the sign down is whenever there's no game on the weekend.
When I talk to other people from Sooke about the Celtics, they say like, man, they're one of the more tougher teams in the soccer world.
I think Sooke's always had that reputation, but I think with that comes a bit of a like prejudice as well, that like maybe we're not as skilled as other teams, so we have to be physical, or like we're goons and stuff like that. So like as much as like Sooke is a traditionally a fishing and a logging and resource blue collar community, I think that there's also a lot of talent in Sooke and a lot of skill. Yeah. And I think that like that sentiment doesn't help us, especially with like referees and stuff like that. And, it's kind of, we're definitely trying to break that.
For sure.
But, the fact that we were a Div 1 team for 4 years and in a top Div 1 team, like we were, finished top 4 a couple times and we made provincials and stuff like that. So like, it's pretty good for a small community to have that level of soccer talent and skill. And, get that far. So
the Celtics have only been around since 2002, you said?
yeah, so
okay.
so like I said, it was like a Div 4 team, I think, at the start. I wasn't playing on the team.
Right.
Then they won Div 4, and they went to Div 3. They won Div 3. They went to Div 2, and then I think when they were Div 2, Dave, the coach, made them the Celtic. It's not Celtics. Celtics is like Boston Celtics basketball team. It's like Celtic, like without the S.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, lots of people say that, and I try not to correct them, but technically it is Sooke Celtic.
We'll have to make a note of that, Kyle.
Yeah,
Make sure you put in Celtic.
Yeah, take out the S. Yeah, and then they won Div 2, and they were Division 1, and that's when I started playing on the team. And I think we were Division 1 for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. And
wow.
Yeah, it was like we would draw players from Victoria would come play for us. Like I had like a guy that one time he played like Division 1 NCAA soccer, and he signed with our team, and like guys that had played like semi-pro before, and like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was really impressive, the kind of guys that would come to Sooke, and part of it was that it's such a good place to play, right? Like to have like 400 or 500 fans at the game, and the Halloween game, they're lighting off fireworks, and
nice.
The chainsaws revving, and the fans are like really into the game and yelling and cheering and abusing the other team and all that stuff. Like that makes you want to play, right?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Even for, I think, opposing teams, like it's an experience to come to Sooke and play in that atmosphere, right? You don't get that anywhere else. So
that's awesome. So do you guys play on that new turf field that's in Sooke?
So we do sometimes, but we start the year usually on the middle field, which we call the log.
Okay.
So that's why the sign says Sooke Celtic game at the log. It's that's our home pitch, and then once the weather kind of turns and it gets wet, we start playing on the turf.
Okay.
So yeah, it just kind of depends, right? I prefer grass. I think that soccer is a grass sport, and you can slide tackle, and it just feels more authentic. But
right.
I realize that obviously our climate doesn't always support playing on the grass, so
it's nice. A little soggy out there.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean, I think we have one of the nicest turf fields on the island. It's
really?
new. Yeah, it's new, and it's like not really used as much as like ones in Victoria that are like battered down and kind of old looking. So like it's nice to have the option of both, I think.
So is it a lot more difficult to do like a slide tackle on the turf
you
field
can do it.
grass?
It's just like you get turf burn, right? Which is like the red burn on your side, right? So I think a lot of people just don't do it.
Yeah.
Whereas like sliding on grass is pretty comfortable. You get a bit of mud, but it's no big deal.
So you said about 500 people show up to the game?
In the past. Lately, we're trying to build it up again and stuff like that. But yeah, when we were Division 1, it would be like 400 or 500 people, and like it was there was the one section we used to call it the zoo, where like the younger people were, and they were partying and super loud and all that stuff. The zoo got so out of control that like the league said, you guys have to put a fence up because the fans are interfering with the game. So we put a kind of a temporary fence up, and then that got pushed over obviously because the fans were out of control. So then we had to put like a permanent chain link fence up, like concreted into the ground. And, that was good enough, but it was like the league had said that like you guys are not allowed to have any more games unless you do something about the zoo because it's out of control, right?
Leave it to Sookies, eh?
Yeah, right? I mean, it's like there's not a lot to do in Sooke sometimes, right?
No,
and on a Friday night, going to watch the local soccer team with all your friends, it's free, it's outdoors, it's support your community.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, it was really quite the experience when we had that good of a fan base. And I think like this year we had one game where we had like over 100 fans, so that's still a lot more than other teams. Like typically, I think like I've watched a lot of VIS soccer, and there might be like 20 or 30 fans at a game in Victoria or something like that, but it's like not even close to like what Sooke gets. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to go to a game now.
Yeah. It's actually we have our next home games on December 4th.
Okay.
5 o'clock. It's a Saturday, and we're gonna have some live music after the game as well.
Oh, really? Who's playing?
Yeah, Fault Line. It's a local band from Sooke, and they're friends with some of the guys on the team. And we went to a party, and they were playing, and I started talking to them. I said, "You guys should come play at our game." And they're like, "Yeah, we'd love to play." So we're gonna set that up, and the game should be over about 6:45 or something, 7 o'clock, and then they'll play their set for an hour and a half or a couple hours.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's really looking forward
cool.
to it. Trying to like make it better and make it more of an experience for everybody. So
is it like is kid friendly too, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
My nieces and nephews go to every game. They're the biggest, loudest fans there. You can hear them across the field. They got all their Celtic clothes.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, there's like it's usually a section where like the younger loud people go, and then kind of like the families are everywhere else spread out. But
gotcha.
We also have like a ton of like parents that come to every games. Like parents that have watched their kids play for like 20 years, right? So it's like I see lots of dads that I know and lots of moms I know and like people's siblings, and as Sooke is, you know, you just kind of get to know people. And
For sure.
so yeah, that's like a big part of our fan base too, is just like those loyal fans, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you're the coach now of the Celtic team.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'm the head coach. We have a manager. His name's Brendan Hurley. He's great. He's been with the team for longer than I have. I just started last year. But yeah, it's coming along. Like I think we have like 24 players on our team now, and you know, we're always looking for new talent as well.
Right.
We have some of the younger guys that play on the U17 boys team that train with us every week. So they've been getting some playing time as well, and getting them used to like playing men's soccer, where it's a little more physical and, you know, playing against some bigger bodies and more competitive. So that's
Nice.
kind of looking good for the future.
Totally. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, and you guys are currently Div 4, you said?
Div
or-
3.
Div 3, sorry. Div
Yeah,
3.
yeah, we're I think we're in 4th place right now, so like middle of the pack. So usually like the top teams would move up to the Division 2, and the bottom 2 teams would move down. But this year there's a Division 3A and 3B, so 10 teams in each. So what they're planning on doing is the top 5 from each Division 3 will stay in Division 3, and the bottom 5 will make a Division 4 next year, and then the Division 4 this year will become Division 5. So they want to kind of spread it out, right? So there's a lot riding on the season. You know, if you finish in the top 2 spots, you have a chance to move up. If you finish top 5, you're going to stay, and if you finish bottom 5, you're getting relegated. So every game matters, right? There's a lot of pressure, and yeah, it's good. It's competitive, right? And
That's
you know, it's like it's easy to say, well, it's just Div 3 soccer, but I feel like this kind of thing is as serious as you make it, and
totally.
you know, if you can get everybody on board, then it's a lot more fun. So
I love competitive sports.
yeah, I think everybody does, right?
Yeah.
And even the people that say, "Oh, I'm not that competitive," well, when the game starts, you're pretty competitive, right?
Even if you don't play that particular sport, even just to go watch is just awesome.
Totally,
you know?
and cheering for your town, right? Like,
Totally.
It's soccer's really cool like that. Like I don't know if there's other sports that do the same like locally, but like, you know, each community has kind of a men's soccer team, right? So Salt Spring has a team, Comox has a team, Nanaimo has a couple teams, Oak Bay has a couple teams. So you can play against your other communities, and it's like when you finish youth sports and in soccer, you go to the men's team in your local community, and then you play for that team till you're, you know, 35 years old. Then you play on the over 35s team till you're 50 years old. Then you play on the over 50s team, right? So like you can play for your community, represent your community for like your whole sporting career, basically.
Jeez,
Soccer. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like we play against a lot of the same players. You know, you recognize guys. Oh, I played against you when I was 16, and you know, I didn't like you then, I don't like you now. That kind of stuff, right? You build that rivalry, and you know, remember these guys last year? What happened in the game? Like, you know, don't forget that, boys. And you know, you can kind of draw on all that stuff,
totally.
right? So
That's wicked.
yeah, you get rivalries and stuff like that. And,
Totally, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's for me. I play hockey. And, basically, after I graduated from high school, went up north to work and all that kind of stuff. But it's not really the same as soccer. You know, you can't like. Not every community has like the men's league, and like there's so many diluted leagues. It seems like there's not just one. For each community to keep it simple. But but now what I'm trying to do is get into coaching for my little ones. I got 2 boys, so and one's actually interested in soccer, so I'm kind of thinking about taking him to a Celtic game maybe.
Yeah, that's an easy way to get the kids hooked.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it maybe just is about the French fries, but
it's
whatever, right?
Hey.
They got good fries at that concession.
Do they have a beer garden too? Or?
They don't have an official beer garden, but people bring pops in their pockets, and
But we don't talk about that.
No, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, don't do that.
The concession's good though. Like the kids love it. Like my nephews that's their favorite part is it's the game, and then the French fries. And
well, that's good. The concession's open.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So next game's December 4th. So what's the future look like for the Celtics?
Well, I mean, you know, like right now, like we're in, like you said, 4th place. So we're hoping to stay up, obviously, in Div 3. It would be nice to make a push to be a top team, but I think we're a bit far back at this point to do that. But you never know how things go. And then there's also a cup at the end of the season, which is kind of like a playoffs or like a tournament. So it'll be like a 1 game, and then if you win, you move on, and if you lose, you're out, kind of thing. And so, you know, you can win the McGavin Cup, which is like a pretty big accomplishment. Sooke's never won that, so
really?
So that would be something. Like I think we're definitely in contention for that with other teams. But you know, the kind of the top teams in the league that we've played, it's been like 1 or 2 goal games, so we're close. So that's kind of in the short future, and then obviously there's like next year and in the future, and you know, getting younger players involved and raising the skill level as well. And And then, it's unfortunate. Sooke's growing community, but I think we still need to draw players from Victoria. Like, we still have probably like 6 or 7 players that live in Victoria to play on the team.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of them are from Sooke, but they just live in Victoria. But we I don't think we have enough to just be from Sooke, right? So that's part of the thing too, is recruiting and stuff like that. So.
Well, hey, if there's any Sookies out there listening that have some soccer skills.
Yeah, totally. Or anybody, like there's a guy on our team, he's from Oak Bay, and he just loves playing for Sooke, right?
Hey.
And he's like, it's funny because I realized, like, being from Sooke, you get that like prejudice, but he also, I think, has got it from Oak Bay, right? And he's like wants to go against that, so he plays for Sooke, right? And he fits right in. And it's a fun group of guys, right? Like, we have a few beers after practice, and we hang out on weekends, and we have Christmas parties and Halloween parties and all that stuff. So like, it's really social. Yeah,
well, and I mean, I know like a lot of Sookies like to be, like, oh, Sooke or nothing kind of idea, but like really, like if somebody's cool, like you still bring them in anyway.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Sooke's totally open that way.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. Like it's how I met some of my best friends, through soccer, and especially as you get older, right? It's harder to make friends and stuff like that, but you stay connected with a good group of guys, and it's great.
Totally. So if I wanted to find out when the next, I know the next game's on December 4th, but if I want to plan ahead, where do I look to see your guys' schedule and find any updates?
So the VISL, the Vancouver Island Soccer League, has a website. If you just Google VISL Soccer, you can check the standings and all the teams and stuff like that.
Nice.
We also have an Instagram account at Sooke Celtic, and we have a Twitter at Sooke Celtic.
Nice.
So we can be found there. Try to keep that updated as much as possible, but sometimes when you lose, you don't really feel like reporting the score.
but when you win, it's awesome.
Yeah, when you win, or when you got a big game. I learned in the past that if you say biggest game of the season about every game, then people think it's the biggest game of the season, and really every game is the biggest game of the season, right? So
every game counts.
Yeah, every game counts. Biggest game of the season, most important ever, that kind of thing. So yeah, try to plug that as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're coming to an end here. Before we go, is there anything you want to say to the people of Sooke, or any shout-outs you want to give, or anything like that?
I just think that, like, it's soccer in Sooke is such a great thing. Like, it's I don't know how long the Sooke Soccer Association has been around, but it's been a long time, right? And there's just so many people that you meet through soccer and through the community that way. It's just been such a positive experience for me, and I think that, like, I really encourage other people to get involved in soccer. And, like you said with your kids, like, you play other sports, you can also play soccer. Like tons of kids switch over and play lots of sports, and it's just a lot of fun for everybody. So
definitely. Well, thanks for coming on, Pete. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Just before we go, I just wanted to mention that Meanwhile Sooke, in partnership with the Sooke Food Bank, is doing their holiday challenge. Check out their social media. Donate to the food bank. They serve about over 600 families a month. Their goal is $10,000 this year. They raised over 13 last year. Go online, check out their social media, and donate. You get a tax receipt with it. It's that time of year, folks, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you could do that. Thanks again for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time.
The All Sooke Days podcast. It's about Sooke businesses, Sooke people, and Sooke history. Brought to you by SookeMortages.ca. With better rates and service, come see why we are Sooke's first choice for mortgages.